Hey, what's up, guys? So this is going to be the definitive, and I would say probably close to my final weapon tier list for X Defiant. Now, before I get started, I do want to show my level in the game, my stats, just so you just kind of know that I play this game a lot. I played a good amount. I put a lot of time into it. I have the music lowered, so you can hear my voice a little bit better. But let's go over to the stats and the stuff. And first off, I want to show you that every single gun in the game is max level. I actually unlocked everything the legitimate way, not just because they handed everything to you for free, but I have every single gun in the game max level. On top of that, with the factions, as you can see, it doesn't show because I have these two max, but most factions in the game I have at level 200 plus. Most of them are going to be completed and very close to completed, aside from DedSec. I haven't really touched DedSec much, but most of these factions I have maxed out, or very close to being maxed out. So I've played with the factions a good number. I'm level 297. I'm not the best player in the world or anything. I'm not going to say I am the best player in the world or super mega awesome at the game, but I'm a very good player. I played against with a lot of people. You can show my friends list and people that I communicate with, and they are good players. You might know some of these players. You might have run into them. These are some people that I've run into. This is West Coast, keep in mind. So those players are, I think it's a little weird. Riley Jacked, he's a pretty good player. That's just a friend of mine. Also, just a friend of mine. Also, just a friend of mine. I bet I'll get to him down here. I play with X Defiant. He's a very good player. I've run into him many times before. Madara.cfg. These are all good players. Recharging, you know, not the best players in the world or anything, but these are good players that I've ran into and that friend me after playing them quite often. Or good players, well, most of the time I deny them. But anyway, point being, let's get onto the list. Let's get into the great stuff, the bad stuff, and the nitty-gritty. And I'm going to be breaking down in the practice zone certain examples. And I'm also going to be referencing a chart that I made myself with headshots and how everything works together. So I've taken the time to put this information together. Not just, oh, this is the gun that I feel, and this is the gun that everybody says is top tier.
Oh, this place isn't nearly as musty as our usual training grounds.
A lot, in my opinion, some of the factions
Firing range.
And things have definitely
Get trigger
changed.
time with different loadouts. Really absorb those shooting skills.
All right, stop talking. All right, so let's start with let's just go through kind of the guns that we're just going to go through the list of weapons and kind of go from there. So the Famas is a very bad weapon. I don't see it used that often. I had somebody try to tell me earlier on that they thought it was one of the best guns in the game, and I strongly disagree with that. I'm just building the gun how I generally like to build my weapons. Depending on, for AR class, I'm just going to make stuff pretty quick that I like to do. So I find on most weapon builds, speed is very important, and it's way more important than recoil control for most of the guns. Any gun that pretty much has like a sprint of fire and a movement speed attachment, it's like the folded stock or the no stock. Those are very strong attachments. Unless you're playing for like really accuracy and there's like a movement speed buff, but then there's the hip fire. But whatever, this isn't an attachment video. Let me get to it. So Famas is one of the worst guns in the game, probably a bottom tier gun. The reason for that is that it requires all 6 bullets within your burst, your 2 bursts to hit. Now, oftentimes people are going to be moving, people are going to be jumping, things are going to be all over the place. You might miss a shot here or there. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. So you might, and you'll be like, oh, what about like headshots? Headshots are like really great. If you hit all head on the first burst, that's helpful. But you can still be in a head glitch situation and that go above. You need all bullets, so when you're at ranges, it's very hard to get all shots on the head and really give you a benefit to that. And it's still, in most cases, you're looking at a 3-burst kill. And if you're really accurate, you're going to get the 2-burst kill. But when you stretch those ranges further, you get into scenarios like that, where even if you're pretty accurate and people are moving and everything, you're going to be looking at a 3 or 4 burst kill in most situations. And that's not good. So with that out of the way, I will say that I place the Famas on the bottom. So we're just going to like give it some space here. We're going to fill it in as I go, but the Famas is definitely a low tier weapon. It's not the worst gun in the game. You can make it work, but it's definitely not really fantastic. Alright, so the ACR is, I have it up here, it's one of my guns. I love this gun, it's very fun to use, but it definitely has some weaknesses in the fact that there's other guns that just outshine it. So it has 600 rounds per minute, and if we look at this chart here, it's okay. Once you get to like the 34 to the 45 meter range, it has pretty good consistency, because at longer ranges, you know, you're not losing to SMGs and stuff up closer-ish. But like, you have a really good headshot multiplier in that you only need one headshot to decrease that time to kill. So it's very good. And it's accurate. It's very, very, very accurate. But there's other guns that just do what the ACR is doing, but better. It's definitely an accurate gun. It's definitely not a terrible gun, but I would definitely place it somewhere in the mid-tier range. It's very good. You can have success with it. It's great. But other ARs just outshine it, and it just by a large number, by a large margin. So next gun we're going to get to, I think it's the next one on the list, is the AK-47.
Loadout updated.
AK-47 is basically the same exact thing, but only it shines at different ranges than the ACR. So you would think up at close range, you're like, oh, close range is going to be like way better than the AK-47. And it's pretty much, it's kind of like a worse TTK, and it has a lower rounds per minute. So, and it requires more headshots at different ranges. So it doesn't have the distinct advantage of being like the high damage weapon. It should, at one of these ranges, I believe, have one headshot to lower the kills. Maybe in the first damage range, it does. So it's a 5-shot kill, right? So it's a 5-shot kill, and if I do one heady, it still requires it. Even though technically it's like 1 damage away. In most gunfights that you're going to have, you're going to be in a situation where they're full health. Most of the time. Not all the time. Obviously that does happen. But you have to get 2 headshots to change that shot to kill. And when you have a lower fire rate weapon, where you might be missing the shots sometimes, it's very unforgiving. Whereas the AK-4, the ACR is a little bit more forgiving. So it allows you to be very consistent with that. I'm going to lower my audio of my game just a little. So it just allows you to build more consistency by using the ACR. But in my opinion, the ACR and the AK-47, they're so close, it's very preference-based. If you like the accuracy of the ACR, take the ACR. If you like feeling like you get a little bit more damage per mag, take the AK-47. They're both kind of very accurate. Nothing really wrong with them, but nothing really stands out on those weapons. So I'm going to put the AK-47. I'm going to hover it basically right next to you. You can flip-flop these if you want, so much as a flip-flop, or as I would do something like this. They're very good guns, but nothing fantastic though. Next is the G36K. G36K is very interesting. It's very similar to the M4. Kind of how the AK-47 and the ACR are very similar to each other. This gun is very similar too. This is one of those guns, and I'll do this in my next video, but it's very good with the cleaners because it only requires 1 headshot in the first damage range, which is really great. So this gun is very good at headshots in the first range. So it only has 1 headshot lower, and you can get 3 head and 1 body for a 4-shot. And as you go out to the further ranges, it becomes a little bit less forgiving. Like I said, it's very similar to the M4, but I prefer the M4 because it feels a little bit more accurate. Their rate of fire is very similar, and their reload times are very similar. Everything is generally very similar. So you'll see that here with like the M4. One of the things that I like about the M4 is at longer ranges, it's very consistent still. Whereas the G36K, your time to kill at longer ranges isn't as good. And it's also a lower fire rate. It's 705 rounds per minute as opposed to 725. So you have to be more tight and you have to be more consistent, or else your time to kill will go down. So I would say the M4 is definitely hot. I'm sorry, the G36K is, in my honest opinion, it's kind of I would say it's slightly above the AK-47 and the ACR right now. Definitely a good gun. If you put it with the cleaners, it's fantastic because then you just get that consistent kill in that first damage range. But I find when I'm pushing those longer ranges, sometimes that accuracy, it just doesn't keep that accuracy at long. But at closer ranges, it's definitely very good. If you can keep it in that 28 meters range, you'll laser people. But as you get further out, I notice that it's tougher. Alright, LVOA, hands down, is probably the best gun in the game. This gun is so good. It's so good because it's very forgiving if you miss shots, because it shoots at 800 rounds per minute. So if you mess up, you're like, it's fine, it's okay. The recoil is extremely easy to control. It's not hard at all. And it benefits from headshots so much. It's absolutely fantastic. If you look at the chart here, 1 headshot lower in the second and third damage ranges, 2 in the first, which is somewhat normal, but most guns have 2 headshots needing, or you'll see as I get to this one too. It has that forgiveness, and it's really good because you can use it kind of like an SMG hybrid, as the other top tier gun that I'm going to mention as well. And you can also beam from it and very reliably at longer ranges. And it's just any situation that you're in, it's just going to be beneficial.
Going for your quota.
And it's going to feel okay. It goes through ammo really quickly, but it's an absolute laser and it kills really fast. And there isn't a situation where I wouldn't want to use the LVOA. It's phenomenal. Hands down, it has become my favorite gun in the entire game. Very good gun. The next gun is the M4. M4 is very good. In the beginning of the game, I didn't like it. I hated this gun. I thought it was terrible. I liked the AK-47 and the ACR way more. Even the M16, I was like, this gun ain't it. The other guns are just better. But now, after the nerfs with the AK-47 and the ACR losing that slow fire rate from the final season, it's kind of crept up a little bit. It's a laser beam, and it benefits from headshots so much. It has a very good forgiving fire rate, so if you miss a couple shots, it's really not like the end of the world here. So in the second and third damage ranges, it's really good. And you have multiple scenarios where if you're crazy on the headshots, you're going to be rewarded, whereas some other guns are not. And that's a very big benefit. Like these guns, the ACR and the AK-47 do not have that, oh my god, if I just beam with the M4, I'm going to be rewarded. So I'm going to put the M4 a little bit high. I'm going to put that down a couple of notches, but I'm going to say the M4 is a very good gun. It's phenomenal. Absolutely a great weapon to use. Let's move on. We're going to go to the MTR. This is probably the second best gun in the game overall. The only weakness that I really see with this weapon is it has a very weird recoil, so it's down right. And that's kind of strange. Most people will say use the heavy barrel because it decreases the shot to kill. But so by 1, so you get a 5-shot kill. Now it's a 6-shot kill, and everyone's like, oh my god, you should use that barrel. But honestly, I use them with cleaners, and they're really cheap. And even if you don't use a heavy barrel, it's still incredible because it maintains that fire rate. So if you miss a couple of shots or things aren't going perfectly, it's okay. You got another bullet coming. Whereas when you lower it to 689 RPM down from 765, if you miss shots, you might be screwed. The problem with this gun is that at the longer ranges, sometimes you can miss your shots a little bit. Not all the time. If you master the recoil and you get the hang of it and you know that recoil pattern, it's okay. It's not that bad. You're going to do okay. It's just all about learning it. But I find at the longer ranges, I like the LVOA because it's more consistent because of your rounds per minute, a little bit of forgiveness, and it feels more accurate to me. So when I'm up close, I don't really care. I'll use the MDR. I can use that all day. But it's when I get further out, it's not that I hate the MDR. Oh, it looks like I do. But I have to train myself to remember that recoil pattern. I have to be like, okay, let me do this. And that's the only thing that makes me not like that. And on top of that, the removed stock is an option on the LVOA, whereas on the MDR, it's not an option. And I feel like that's a very big weakness. It was why I put the LVOA over the MDR. Next gun is the M16. The M16 is phenomenal because it's a consistent 2-burst kill in most situations. The headshot multiplier is amazing, where it will kill in 1 burst if you are very clean with your shot. So there are going to be some situations where you hit all 3 bullets and you laser them, you're done. Gunfight over. Not usually always going to happen, but it's more consistent than the Famas. It's way more because it's more accurate, and each shot doesn't hit. The only downside is it's not as fast as the Famas, but you gotta kill, so it's not like it has very bad speed like an LMG, you can't make it work. So the M16, I would say, is like a top 3, top 4 gun. It's very, very, very good. So I would put the M16 over the M4, and I would put the MDR as the second best gun in the game. And then we're going to throw some other guns in the middle and things here when I get to all that. So this is kind of like the AR tier list at the moment. Okay, next set of guns that we're going to be going over. I want to do
HQ standing by for tactical support.
Good luck. Alright, next guns that we're going to go over is the M19. I'm not going to put any attachments on these or anything. Did I not pick that? Oh, sorry. The M1928 is pretty bad. It is basically a worse M4, basically, or the same as an M4. Has a little bit more range than the M4A1. Same exact rate of fire, pretty much the same exact damage. I'm not entirely sure on the headshots on the top of my head for that, but it takes 2 shots to kill to reduce it, which is pretty normal for an SMG, right? So it's a 6-shot kill, but most SMGs are a 6-shot kill with faster fire rates and take 2 headshots too. So it's very accurate when you stretch it to the longer ranges. It's very good at kind of keeping up at the longer ranges if you need to. But the problem with that is that you're just going to be outgunned by any AR because they're going to be killing faster than you. The gun, you can make it work, it can do its thing, but it doesn't have the range and the real ability to, the damage up close to compete with other SMGs. So other SMGs like the P90, the MP7, the Vector, which I'll get into a moment, they just outclass the M1928. I would say the M1928 is an extremely low tier weapon. It's going to be somewhere near the Famas. I would actually put it maybe slightly above. M1928 is pretty bad. Not the best thing, not the worst thing in like the world, but kind of is. Next gun is the PP19. All right, so this gun is great. It's iffy up close. So there is absolutely nothing you can do with headshots to make this thing change in the first range, which kind of sucks. So 5-shot kill. 5-shot kill. Great. Now I'm going to do headshots. If I do 4 headshots, I can't even change the shots to kill. So at range, or at close range, you have a really good time to kill, but you must hit every bullet you start missing shots, that time to kill plummets. So you need to make sure that you hit those shots, or else you're just not going to. It's very good. It has a very good clean range. And then as you get closer to the longer range, it's also, like I said, it's kind of a laser. I've seen people shoot me kind of far with this thing. It's very accurate. No, I'm not making it look that way. But it's very enjoyable, and that you have a very large magazine base too, which is phenomenal. So you don't have to change anything or whatever with that. It's very, very good. It's very weak with the cleaners, so it's very good to use like the Echelon or Highwaymen with the faction. I'm probably going to do another... when I get into the faction things, I'll say which guns are good with that, but I'm going to do tier list for now just based on the weapons. So Bizon is, or PV919, whatever you want to call it, is probably my second favorite SMG, maybe my third favorite. It's very, 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 very good, and I would place that pretty high on a tier list. So I would say that this gun is probably, I'm going to call it the Bizon. I'm going to say it's around here. It's a very, very, very good gun. If you're a good player, it's phenomenal. So, great gun. The next gun is the MP5. I think this gun is underrated, but I still think it's pretty bad. It has very good movement. The build that I use, and this is the build that I use, it's very, very, very good movement. You could also use the removed. Folded or removed, whatever you prefer if you want to lose a teeny-weeny bit of recoil, but in most cases, you're already super fast and great sprint fire speed anyway, so it doesn't really matter. MP5 is, I like the iron sights a lot, and that's kind of important to me because it helps me with flexibility of the build. To use it for other things, but on other attachments, make things faster. The movement speed in the MP5 to me is great. It feels great to me. I like that a lot, but this gun doesn't kill. It has something over the P90 in that it has better movement speed, but the P90 is better than the MP5 in every single way. It's the exact same damages, but more fire rate, so why would you ever use the MP5? It's a low-tier gun. It's not the worst thing. I would prefer it over the M1928 and the Famas, but that's pretty much where I would put this gun, is I would put it right here. It's not the worst thing I've ever used. At least for me, I like the M1928 might be a little bit better because it's better at ranges, but to me even, I like the MP5 more at range. But that could just be a preference thing, to be honest. But yeah, the MP5, same thing, 2 shots. It's 2 shots to get it to a 4-shot kill. I'm sorry, to a 5-shot kill, and it just doesn't have anything standing out for it. That's how most SMGs are. It takes 2 shots to kill, 2 extra to the head. Moving on to the MP7. MP7 is widely considered the best SMG in the game. Most people really prefer that. I do not. I don't. I'm a clown maybe, but for me, when I use this gun, my aim assist does not feel as good as other SMGs to me. Something about this gun, I just don't like it as much. I think it's probably the 3rd best SMG in the game. For me, I prefer the Vector, which I'll get into in a second, and the Bizon. But this gun is very good too. I would take this one, and then I would take the P90. This gun is very good though. A lot of people think it's very good. I enjoy it. It's definitely not a bad weapon at all. It's definitely a high tier weapon. It doesn't really do too great in the headshot department, but it kills very good up close. Very, very good. When you get out of those ranges, it's very hard to get that kill. You're burying bullets into people. It's really not that good. You need to be up close, but you will shred everything in the game but a Vector. It's very good. So the MP7, I would say, is probably somewhere up here. Yeah, it's definitely a high tier gun. I would maybe put it up higher. It's probably here. Very, very, very good gun. Okay, next gun is P90. So the P90 is good. It's not my gun. The main reason that I don't like it as much is that it doesn't have a good stock to increase your movement. So when I use this thing, I just feel a little bit slower. Not that it's slow,
Additional hostiles
but I
neutralized.
just feel a little bit slower. The magazine is nice, but I don't like how fast these bullets come out for this kind of weapon that doesn't kill as fast as the Vector, which I will get into next. It's very, very, very good. I would say this is kind of potato MP7 P90, kind of like the ACR AK-47 and G36 M4 comparisons. It's kind of potato. Like, you want a little bit more accuracy and a little bit more, you know, larger clip, you know, that kind of thing. I can find that I can laser shoot far with this. It just takes a while, a lot of bullets to do it. But I've had good games with this. I enjoyed it. I would place the P90 pretty high as well. I'm going to say this is kind of potato with the P90 and MP7. That's kind of where those guns are. Okay, next gun is the Vector. I think the Vector is the best SMG in the game. I don't know what it is about this thing, but it beams from far away. I don't really understand why. This is not my build. Give me a sec, Garrett. But this thing is so good. This is not the... I love the reload time in this magazine. You absolutely, totally need it. Where is this? Right, this is that. And then that... No, I don't use that. That's fish posh. And then I use either... And then I actually use the remover stock. This is the most beautiful gun in the game. It reloads so quick. And it's a absolute laser beam, like a laser. And headshots are actually very good in the second damage range because it'll actually change your time to kill. Whereas up close, you need to basically hit like every single bullet to the head to change the time to kill. It's really not so good to go for headshots in the first damage range. So it's nice when you're in that first damage range that you could just be like, nah, go for the body, I'm gonna shred. And it keeps that consistency. Like I said, when I shoot even further ranges with it, I don't care. It's pretty accurate for a SMG that buries bullets. So when I'm in those situations where I need to challenge people really far, I'll do it if I can. And I love this SMG. People will disagree and say maybe it's not a top tier SMG, but I would honestly put the Vector really high. It's a great gun. Moving on, the shotguns, pretty much they're all pretty low tier. The double barrel is probably one of the worst guns in the game. It's very good because it does kill, and it's gonna kill. But the problem is once you run into multiple people or you're in a situation where you need to re-challenge, you're just not going to be able to do it. You're just not. You're gonna die. So you have to pick your fights accordingly. The M870 and the Spaz are kind of neck and neck. I'd say the M870 is going to be better than the Spaz. So I would put the M870 here and probably the Spaz 12 there. Yeah, I would probably do that. And then the AA12, I would probably put here. Let me change this to I would say that's about right. The MP5 is somewhere in the middle of the shotguns. That actually kind of makes sense to me. The shotguns are okay, but they're just so niche and situational. If you're playing like team deathmatch, great. You camp a corner, fine. But if you're playing like objective modes and you have a shotgun, you're just kind of gonna lose because the pacing is so quick. When people are on the zone and occupy, they're just gonna catch you, and they're gonna get you sometime. You know, you might hold that zone and everything's great, but if everybody's playing as they should, it's kind of tough. The MG5 is a great gun. It kills so fast. It's so fast. There's one gigantic big problem with this gun. One very big problem is the reload. Doesn't matter how you build this gun, what you do. If you don't do that, you put on the thing, you make the movement faster. This reload is going to punch you. So if I put on a fast mag. This is the fast mag. That feels like the slow. That feels like the worst reload in the world. If I put on the really fast mag, that feels like the regular reload speed, right? So it feels like in it, absolute shred. The only problem is eventually you need to do this in a very fast pace, or you need to give up a very good ADS time, or an opt. You're constantly giving up something with this gun to make it good, but it is very strong and kills very quickly. I would say that it's probably going to be somewhere around here. I would say MG5 is like high mid-tier. It's very, very good, but it does have that weakness. It kills so fast. M249 is basically just a faster ADS time and a little faster, but slightly slower speed in killing MG5. What makes this gun cool is you have a lot of options with your mag. So you can have, let's see, you can have just like a 60% reload time, and this makes the gun a little bit better. It makes it faster than the MG5, but it does not kill as fast. So you can do something like this, put this on, and now you're kind of locked and loaded. Right, so it's like really, really good. That's really great. But the only thing is that you are slower. You are definitely not a fast-moving person. So when you're in a gunfight and there's a lot going on, people are jumping around, people are healing. Libertad, it runs away and heals, and then you got to reach out. Or something, a Phantom throws down a shield and you want to chase him. Whatever that situation is, you can't really do that. So it's a very, very good gun, but I also kind of tomato it with MG5. So MG5 and the M249 are in that same scenario, where they're both really good. They're both gonna kill really quick, but you gotta kind of plan everything and just work around that. M60 is easily the worst LMG in the game. People for a while were like, oh my god, it's way better than I thought. It kills people so fast. It's really bad. Alright, so it's 4 shots. Right? Look at this. How do I have a big, gigantic, slow LMG that can't kill in 3 shots up close? I can do 3 to the head, but unlikely. Especially when you shoot very slow. So if you shoot very slow, you're better off going for the body. And then if I compare to my other chart here, if we look at our M60, only in the second damage range do you get a benefit to headshots, and everything else is 2 or 3 heads, even 3, which is really bad because most guns, these guns are 2 and 1. This gun is all 1 MDR, best thing ever. This is like 1. Most guns in the game have a form of headshot multiplier that's going to be helpful, and at longer ranges, it's just, I don't know. This gun to me is not my favorite. I'd rather use the RPK because eventually you need to do this. Right? So it's the same issue of the MG5, but if you're going to give me a slow reload, even with a quick mag, I might as well take that MG5. So now if I put the fast mag on, I'm like, ooh, I'm really cruising on this reload. It's still a very slow reload for a kind of non-forgiving, slower rate of fire LMG. So the LMG, the M60 is definitely a lower tier weapon. I would honestly place it... I would honestly place it here. It's not really that good. I don't really enjoy the M60. It's not the worst thing. So RPK is probably going to be slightly better than the M60, but really not much. I used to think the M60 was better. This gun is a little bit better. in that it is very good with a cleaner. It is a consistent 4-shot kill in the first damage range if you have a cleaner or if you want to use the heavy barrel or whatever. But I don't like to give up any ADS or movement speed, or really most guns for that matter. It kills very well. It's got a decent reload. It's not bad. It's got a good mag. It has things that are helpful, and it has benefits to going for headshots and stuff like that. The headshots are not bad. Let's take a look at the headshots. See, it's like 2, 1, 3, you know, and then you can get a 3-shot kill. Technically, the same thing as with M60. I don't even think you can get the 3-shot kill. Yeah, so M60. Oh yeah, you had to get 3 shots to the head. But if I can do that with an RPK, why in the hell wouldn't I just do that with this gun as opposed to a slower rate of fire gun? And just, yeah, I like the RPK better. It's got a little bit better reload. It's got a little bit better ADS. I think it's pretty much the same thing. It's got more forgiving fire rate. It's just a little bit better of a gun. It's definitely better than the M60. So I would definitely place that higher. I'm going to place RPK right here, just below the AK-47 and the ACR for now. Okay. Next gun is the L86. L86 is really, really good. It's got great movement speed. It's got a very flexible option with the magazine. Magazine is very important for it. If you're kind of playing it slower, the extended mag is very good. Like if you're playing like Occupy, or you're playing something and you have a secondary that's going to be your movement between the points, and you're just kind of playing chill like an LMG and you want more ammo, that is a good option. The quick mag is also a good option because it's just faster. It's a good reloading LMG. So it definitely has that benefit going for it over the other LMGs in the game. Like, you're not going to be spending 10 minutes. It feels like the RPK. It has the best ADS time, sprint to fire time, all that stuff of the LMGs. So you are going to be performing and moving on the map, way faster than any other LMG. It also takes, I think it's 1 headshot less to kill. So it's a 5-shot kill. Sorry, it was 2 headshots. But if you have a cleaner, it's 1 less headshot. It's just very good because it has that mobility, and it kills very fast. It shoots at 630 rounds per minute, and that's 30 more than the ACR, and it's like the same damage as the ACR and everything. So let's see that gun. L86 is here. L86. So here we go. In the second damage range, so about 36 to 46 meters, it only requires 1 headshot. In the first damage range, it's 2 headshots, 650 rounds per minute, 21, 19, and then 17 damage here. And then if I compare that to the ACR, it's 21, 19, 17, the exact same damage profile, and more range, and faster fire rate than the ACR. So in terms of the time to kill and all that stuff with that gun, I would honestly say that the L86 is probably going to be around here. It's a pretty good gun. It definitely has mobility and advantages over the MG5 and M249. It doesn't kill as fast as the MG5, but it has that mobility and it has that flexibility to it. Whereas the MG5 is, you better plan all your reloads. You better be prepared. So that would be the placement that I would use for that gun. Moving on to the marksman rifles, M1A is hands down the best. It doesn't require the use of a cleaner to get a benefit. So boom, I did 1 headshot, right? Boom. So it's a consistent 2-shot kill for most ranges, and I don't even need a headshot. So see how I hit upper torso there? I don't even need the headshot to get that 2-shot kill. Right, so there's 46 damage, boom. So I can hit a lower torso and be completely terrible, and then get an upper torso. And then at the longer ranges, 1 headshot, anywhere else, is a 2-shot kill. And it fires faster than both of them. It's very, very good. So even if you suck, it's a very good gun. I use the fast mag on it, so this is the build that I use for it. You can use either or of these. It doesn't really matter. And then I put the barrel, yep. And then I use the extended because I want to keep that range, and it gives a really good version of the range. And because I'm not sprinting and shooting too far with this, I love this. It's fantastic. If you're shooting longer ranges, you can try to be a little bit more accurate, try to get that headshot, but it's usually going to give you that 2-shot. And I like this fast reload because it's important, because you go through ammo really quick, because you're firing faster. So I definitely like the M1A. It's definitely my favorite in the marksman rifle category. The only thing is that because it's a marksman, it is a little bit inconsistent. Because if you miss a bullet or something, that time to kill is really, really low. But because this gun has so much potential, I'm going to put it there above the ACR and the AK-47 because that potential is higher than them. Next gun is going to be, I'm sorry, I don't know why it skipped. It's going to be the Mark 20. Mark 20 is very good, but it's kind of not good. It's okay, just because other guns outshine it. You can definitely fly with these guns. They're definitely good because they can 2-tap, right? This gun can 2-tap, but it has a slower fire rate than the M1A, and it can't one-hit heavy like the cleaner can with the SVD. Like, that's its benefit. But it's a definite good gun. It's very consistent. You can get a 2-shot kill at all ranges. It's very, very good. But it just, don't miss. Because if you miss, you're dead. And that is, you have to kind of play these a little slower. You can't be running around the map. You can, but make sure you don't miss, basically. Good gun, though. Very good. But is very situational. And because it just doesn't have that fire rate potential as the M1A and that true consistency even at longer range, it does, I guess. I would place it, honestly, around here. It's a pretty low-tier gun. It is good, though. You can use it. SVD is crap. Has this very, very, very slow fire rate. It's just too slow. You miss like one bullet, like you're probably dead. With the cleaner, if you get a headshot at the first damage range, I think the first 2 damage ranges, then you get a kill. So that's nice. You usually want to use cleaners with these because you want to aim those headshots and get the quick kill. But I don't really like this gun. I'd rather use the Mark 20 or the M1A. It's not good. Sniper rifles, the SRS is hands down the worst sniper. I don't know what it is. Wait, let me just do something here. Alright, so it has a slower fire rate than the TAC 50, but it has a better ADS time. Now, the problem with that for me is I don't care if my ADS time is faster, because if my fire rate is crap, I just can't. I just don't want to, yeah, I don't like that. I want to have, let me see. I want to have a better ADS. I mean, I want to have a better fire rate so that I can zoom in and then quick take the shots, do my thing. So when I'm doing this, I'm trying to hit the button right now. I can't take my shot. I have to wait for forever to shoot. If I see 2 people, I can't engage them. I gotta be like, give me a sec. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. Give me a sec. And I don't like that. The SRS is definitely the worst sniper. I would say it's probably around here. It's low tier. It does kill. It has a very good one-shot potential, but it's not fast. The L115 is probably the best or second best sniper. It's really good, right? So this gun is fast.
Additional hostiles neutralized.
Very good mobility. Very good. Oh, I missed that one. Very good, just ADS time. Scoping in, getting the job done. Oh, I missed that. That's funny. Average at pretty much everything. Doesn't really fall short anywhere. Decent reload. Decent ADS. Decent fire rate. I'm happy with it. It just feels very smooth. It's the average middle ground for all the snipers. It doesn't have the best hitbox potential, but unless you're shooting like really low on them, you're going to get that kill. So it's very hard to do that. You're going to hit that body part. You're going to be good. L15, L115 is the best sniper in the game. I would probably put it as a high tier weapon. I'd probably put it right here, somewhere like mid. It's very good. I don't know. Probably put it below these, just because I believe automatics are just more consistent in this game. Yeah, I'd say it's somewhere around there, maybe near the RPK. It's very good. It's as a sniper, it's great. The next gun is the M44. This is my opinion the best sniper in the game, and the reason for that is the following. So this is the sniper build that I use. I like the flinch control because I do notice a change with the flinch when I'm shooting. So come on game, don't freeze, don't be stupid, thank you. Alright, so if I choose my faction, this is very important. So the Phantoms were nerfed from 120 health to 115 health, right? So if I shoot a Phantom, 112, that used to not kill them. Now it does. And it is the fastest sniper, fastest ADS, and it's got a very good potential. And I don't need to always reload the whole thing. I can just use a bullet, be done, get back in it.
You're on a roll, buddy.
I don't know why I got a Phantom hit there. That was funny. Like, I can just constantly get my hits. It's really, really, really good. I've noticed it feels so good. Oh, you gonna die? Yep, see? There's that Phantom hit. It's so good. And then if you use all the shots, the reload is so fast. Yep. There we go. I love this gun. But M44, in my opinion, is really close to the L115. I would say it's probably just a little bit above that. No, I don't want to exit the game. Okay. Next gun is the pistols. Let's get into the pistols. So dice arrows is pretty bad. It's basically a worse Magnum. The Magnum is right, yeah. Okay, so let me go up to easier ones because then it's easier to throw them all. 93R and the sawed-off shotgun are preference-based. So if you want to make a build for movement and have a pretty decent pistol, 93R is your best bet. If you want to have kill potential, but kind of be like double barrel-ish, you just want that last-ditch effort kill, the sawed-off shotgun is going to be your best bet. If you have to fight multiple people at once, or you had to reload and get in a situation, sawed-off's not going to be there for you. I would honestly put the 93R above the sawed-off shotgun now, even though that used to be the big meta gun secondary for a while. But now I would kind of let me put the sawed-off here. And I'm going to put the 93R here. Let me put this. Let me change this. I would probably put them. And honestly, I would prefer them over the Famas. That's kind of me. But yeah, I don't like the Famas. I hate that gun, but I think that gun's terrible. All right, then the D50 is easily the worst secondary in the game. I would put the D50 below the Famas. That gun is absolutely terrible. The Magnum is a great gun. I would put that also pretty much right here, like 93R, Magnum, sawed off, kind of what's your preference. Magnum is a two-shot kill. If head and body, if you are a cleaner, that's a one-shot kill in the maximum damage range, and it's always going to be a two-shot kill in the other damage ranges, so that's really, really good. So once you get to kind of like this stuff in the list, this is where guns are very niche and they need specialized attention to be good. You need to do something specific with them in order to have them be viable, or play a very weird way in order for it to be viable. Oh no, I got disconnected. Please reconnect me. But if not, I'm generally kind of done with the list. I might have forgotten a gun. The DC arrows. That one I would put probably here. DC arrows. Didn't really like the gun. I don't really like it that much. It's better than the Deagle. It's not really worth using over the Sawed-Off or the Famas. Um, if you haven't noticed, I really hate the Famas. I really do not like that gun. But this is pretty much the tier list that I would go for. This is probably one of my final tier lists. I might make a form of edit to this list later. But this is the list that I really like. This is my list, so take a look. Like I said, I played the game a lot. I've studied a lot of this stuff with the headshots and what guns feel tight on the aim assist, what guns don't, which factions, are there a lot of factions that are really good with certain weapons, etc. I'll get into that in my faction video, but this is my ultimate tier list. LVOA is definitely going to be number 1. Number 2 is the MDR for sure. It's incredible. M16 is a shredder. M4, there isn't a situation where I don't like having the M4 in my hands. Vector is my favorite SMG. These guys are kind of in the realm for being very good SMGs, top-ish. G36K hangs in there. L86 is very good mobility LMG, but it does lose to these um, very good ARs and LMGs in most cases. These LMGs are killers. They're very good, but they just get outclassed by those top ones for sure. M1A is easily the best marksman rifle on a good day or average day. It's going to be better than the AK and the ACR. Like I said, AK and 47 ACR, maybe you bump these up a little bit near these LMG, like slight movements. Once you kind of get down here, this is where things get a little more niche. And where you need a specific setup or a specific way to play. Like, you can't be using any sniper and be playing Occupy and play point and expect you're going to be doing great. Whereas you could play any of these guns and yes, you'll be fine. So that is my weapon tier list for X Defiant. Thank you all and hope you enjoyed.